Hey, this is All Things Show. We're here to do a review and a recap of Pose FX new series. Man, this was a very good episode. The title of the episode is Pink Slip. And it seems like everybody just about got a pink slip. Pink slip. So, we start out with by Blanca. Blanca finally finds out that Papi is selling drugs in the house. And how she finds out is that everybody is getting ready to go to, their various places. Damien is, on his way to class, and Bianca was basically on her way out, but she um, basically forgot, I believe, her jacket, and Poppy had left just before she forgot her jacket. So she comes back into the house and she picks up her jacket, and she hears a beeper goes off. And apparently, what had happened is that Poppy left his pager in the kitchen on top of, I guess, the sink, and Bianca finds it. And so Poppy comes back because he realized that he had basically left his pager. And so he comes back, and Bianca is basically sitting there um, in the living room, and noticed that Poppy had came back to get his pager. So Bianca says, "Is there something that's missing?" And he says, "Yes, I forgot my pager." And so, of course, Bianca goes off and basically asks Poppy, "Why do you basically have a pager?" And he tells her, "Well, it's for me to keep up with my fellows and stuff." And so we go on, and Bianca tells Poppy, "If I find out that you basically selling drugs, you're out." And she told him, "Do you remember my rules of the house is that if anything should happen, if you're selling anything, if you're doing anything that, is not of the rules, you're out." So, of course, we go on, and we are now dealing with Electra, Electra, and her and Mr. Ford. And apparently Electra had prepared herself for Mr. Ford, and he asked her, well, what was the occasion? So basically, Mr. Ford is ready to basically, come and do what he normally does. But this time it's different. He noticed that Electra had her post-op surgery, and he asks her a question. He asks her, "Are you tucking? Are you tucking?" And she says, "No, I'm not tucking." She goes on and tells him that, basically I had, my genitals removed, and I would think that you would be glad to be able to get a fresh new pussy shit, so she says. But apparently that was not the deal with Mr. Ford, because he had explained to Electra that when they first met each other, basically at the bar, at the club, that the arrangement was that he will basically give her anything that, she wanted, as long as she stayed, as long as she kept everything intact. So, of course, she didn't basically do that. And so everything was off. He didn't really want to deal with Electra anymore. He told her that he basically loved her, but the theory that he loved her because he she had something extra, and basically he loved what she had, and he was basically in love with her. But he had told her, the moment that you get rid of, the special part that makes the relationship so binding, I no longer want to deal with you. So he basically, um he had his clothes off. They were getting ready to, be intimate. And then when he found out, he put everything off. He put his clothes back on, and he says, everything is off. And so Electra basically was really, basically shocked, due to the fact that he was basically serious about what he said. And he told her, if you get this operation, it will be no longer me and you. So basically, he was basically supporting her. And so we see that Electra in the House of Abundance was basically preparing, getting ready for another category, getting ready for a ball. And so Alexis storms into the apartment, where Mr. Ford basically had been, providing for two apartments, Alexis' apartment, and plus the House of Abundance. So and the kids are in there, practicing, getting ready. And this is when Candy asks Electra, well, what are you doing here? How come you're not with Mr. Ford? And they find out that he's no longer supporting them. And so the kids were saying, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to, are we going to have a place to stay? Basically, everything was beginning to get shut down. The title of this episode is called Pink Slip. And Electra got her pink slip from Mr. Ford, due to the fact that they came home, the kids of a House of Abundance came home, and they found out that an eviction notice was basically on the door. So they basically left. And so this is when Candy and Lala was very upset, due to the fact that Electra had really came in and was throwing them out of the bedroom, and was going to take their bedroom for her, and tell them that they needed to sleep on the floor. And so Electra was really, really assy. She was really, really nasty. And so she told the kids, she said, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. So basically what she was trying to do is that she said she knew some people, she knew, other men who basically like going with trans women. So she got with this one particular dude, and found out that he was like in the stock market, things like that. So she was very, very excited, due to the fact that she thought that she was going to be still maintaining her lifestyle. But once these the guy got together, and she told the guy what her demands are, and he told her what his demands were. And this guy is like, man, I'm a queer woman, but I don't do any of that stuff. Twinkling and what they call it, showering. He told Electra that he wanted her to basically pee on her and pee on him. And he said, well, she told him, well, I can't do that because I'm a lady. And he says, oh, really? Well, then basically, we have no deal. You don't have your private parts, so you can't. That's the deal. If you're a trans woman, if you have your private parts, then basically you could get it. But basically, no deal. So she wind up. And so what happened is that Lala and Candy basically left the House of Abundance. Lala and Candy left the House of Abundance to basically start their own house. And so we go on, and we go over to the next house, the House of Evangelistic. And we find out that Bianca was basically on the warpath. Everybody was like going down, and she had everybody. She was questioning everybody who came into the house. She was asking questions about Papi, and so Angel was basically there also. And so Angel had caught Damien before he came to the house and told Damien not to say anything, not to tell Bianca that Papi basically was selling drugs because Damien knew that Papi was selling drugs. Everybody in the house knew that he was selling drugs except Bianca. And so she asked everybody. And so Angel said no. And then when it got to Damien, Damien also said no. And then this is when Bianca called in Ricky and asked Ricky and told Ricky, do you remember, when you came to the house, you didn't have any place to stay, you were living on them. And so basically what happened, Ricky basically um snitched on Papi. And so Bianca basically found out that Papi actually was selling. And so she found out by Ricky that basically Ricky was selling mainly marijuana. He wasn't really selling anything really strong or anything, but still a drug is a drug. And so she goes to the pier and she has a conversation with Ricky. And so Ricky sorry, scratch that, with Poppy. And Poppy gets upset and tell Bianca he that she is not his mother. And so that's when Bianca Bianca has Poppy that says you're gonna have to leave and I want you, gone by tomorrow night. And so basically we see Poppy, packing up his stuff and getting ready to basically leave. Then we see Stan and Angel. Basically, Stan and Angel is having their first night of being in the apartment. And Stan does not have to, leave. He's basically there, and Angel is really, really, happy due to the fact that she has Stan all to herself. And so Stan basically asks Angel, tells Angel that I'm basically your boyfriend, and basically I want to go to one of your balls. A little bit about my world. Now I need to know a little bit about your world. And so Angel goes on and tell Stan that she's never taken a date to the ball or anything. So and he said he wanted to go, so she basically takes him. In the meantime, we go on and we find out that um, Mr. Stan, Mr. Ford, in the penthouse has basically locked Electra out. She's unable to go to Mr. Ford's suite to pick up all her things that she left there. Mr. Ford left strict instructions for the billboard not to let Alexis in. In the meantime, Alexis get kind of slammed up by the uh, wall by the billboard, and this is when Electra looks and finds out that there is another trans woman, a younger actually trans woman that has come to basically take her place. So she has, lost the 10-year relationship that she had, the 10-year relationship that she had with Mr. Ford. And so in the meantime, we go on and we find out that Poppy has went back to the drug house and he is not used of being around a lot of drug people, a lot of dope dealers, a lot of people all in the house. So it's basically all new, all fresh. And so the pink slip, Poppy gets a pink slip. The pink slip, the reason why Poppy gets the pink slip is that Poppy gets the pink slip is because he's basically been selling drugs in the house. And so Poppy gets a pink slip and he's no longer in the house of abundance. And so we go on and we see Stan. And Stan and Angel finally goes to a ball and basically all of Stan answers the question, and he says, "Are all of these people, all of these women in here, basically women like you?" And so Angel basically said, "There's no one really like me." And so, of course, being Stan is I guess, the only white guy that's in there. We see a bunch of the women basically hit up on Stan, and I believe it was Lala and another woman. I don't know who she was, but basically was trying to hit up on Stan. And you know how that is when something new and exciting, and I'm just gonna new meat come into town, and so everybody was like trying to hit up on Stan because Angel left Stan there to go get him a drink, and he was kind of nervous, and he really wanted to leave, but uh, Angel wanted Stan to see her, do her category, and so he basically agreed to stay there. But this is when, after the category, apparently, uh, Angel wins her category, and we see that Stan and Angel basically have a talk, and the talk is not a good talk. We find out that Stan tells Angel that he basically loves her, and the reason why he loves her is because she is living in she is living her authentic life, and he just wanted to feel what it felt like not lying and living an authentic life. And so Angel, I don't think Angel kind of caught it, because he had a conversation with her to let her know that he loves her, but he also have kids and everything. And so we go on and we see that Bianca goes to Damien's teacher and basically have a conversation with Damien's teacher, and she tells the teacher that she basically had to put out Papi because he disobeyed her rules, and she felt kind of sad that she did. So the teacher tells her, Damien's teacher tells her that basically you made the right decision. The only way you will find out, and you will find out later on down the road. And so we go on, and we see that Poppy gets locked up. The reason why Poppy gets locked up is that he gets caught. And this time, instead of him having marijuana on him, he had crack on him, because the house that he was staying with the, I guess, the leader of the dope dealer was telling Poppy that nobody is buying weed or smoking weed anymore. They are smoking crack. And remember, crack did basically came on the scene in the early 80s, and that's when crack began to take over of the complete community. That's when New Jack City came into play in the early 1980s. Um, and so crack is going to be a dominant force, especially in the drug scene in the early 80s and now on up to now. And so we see that Poppy is really, really nervous due to the fact that he really don't want to do, he doesn't really want to sell hard drugs, so he gets very, very nervous and everything. And so we see him, roaming around in the city and stuff like that. In the meantime, we see Alexa and we see Electra. And guys, this is when we hear this we hear Dirty Dancer. I'm a private dancer. I think that's Tina Turner's. We see that Electra has basically done everything that she can do. She has basically lost being the house mother, because Lala and Candy has basically left the house, and they are beginning to start their new house. And I know it's called they have a new house. Let's just put it like that way. And so we find out that Electra has done everything that she can to enable to maintain her, excuse me, to maintain her livelihood, and we see her down on the pier. So apparently she's, back to square one. But this is really what kicks me is that when we start hearing Tina Turner, private dancer, a dancer for money, any old thing would do. Now that used to be my song when I first met my partner. That would be my song, and the private dancer, but she wasn't dancing for money. But anyway, we see Electra going to the peep show. She is dancing for money, but this time she's not dancing for like thousands of dollars. She's not a pole girl. She's dancing for 25 cents, and people and the men are putting 25 cents. And so basically, we see that Alexis is, she's down on her luck. She has basically lost everything, and she took the money from the House of Abundance, their Christmas money, and plus she's not been paying, the money on the apartment of the apartment that they have for the House of Abundance. She took that and she put everything into this post op. So she took a gamble, and the gamble is now she's basically she's down on her luck right now. She's really, really down on her luck right now. Yeah, excuse me, guys, it's getting hot. I need to cut my air conditioner on. But anyway, I don't like air conditioning. But anyway, we see that Electra has pink slip. So we see now we go and we see um Bianca. Bianca goes back to the pier, and she goes and she finds Papi. And she sees Papi and she has a conversation, and she tells Papi that she's basically sorry that she put him out the house, and that he could basically come back and come back. And so Papi tells Bianca that he's no longer basically selling drugs anymore, and that he's okay. And he has a conversation with Bianca, and he tells Bianca, he tells her, do you know basically I got locked up, and remember you told me to don't make, if I get locked up, don't make me that one call that you call. And so basically Poppy didn't call her. But then this is where we find out that now Poppy tells Bianca that, I don't need to come to your house. I don't want to come back to your house. I have a new house. And so this is where we find that Poppy is basically going to the new house of Lala and Candy. And so Bianca tells Lala and Candy that basically you're not doing anything, you're losing, you're using him. And Candy and Lala said, you're damn right. Yeah, we are using him to go do things, to fetch things for us. And one more thing that you need to forget that Poppy wins trophy. So remember, Poppy did win his first trophy in the house of abundance. So this is when Bianca tells Lala and Candy that she's basically going to get Poppy back. And so here's the battle. Now we go on and we see, so the pink slip is Bianca loses Poppy to the new house of Candy and Lala. Now, in the meantime, we see that Angel goes to the apartment, and she sees that Stan has basically cleaned the complete apartment out. He moved out everything, and she basically has nothing. And so basically we see that Angel is back on the streets, back on the pier, and back and basically back back hooking. And so it's a good title because it's like a pink slip. And so basically, Angel gets a pink slip too. And how she gets the pink slip is that she has basically lost Stan. And Stan has basically gone back home to his wife is because he realized that he likes the lifestyle of Angel, but he's not at that point in his life where he can basically be what they call a butch queen, a butch queen guy who looks straight but he's really gay. So he's not at that point. And so basically Angel basically gets a pink slip, and the pink slip is what she loses Stan. And so and that's when it basically ends. Now this was very good, very good. Um Pose. They, the trans women are really, really making history. There we know that there's two shows right now. It's Pose, and I don't know what the name of the other show is. I think it's called The House. I'm not quite sure. But this is also talking about the ballroom scene also. And so next week is the final episode. So the first season only had 8 episodes. And so this is next Sunday will be the final episode of Pose, which will be episode 8. And from what I can see, it's looking really, really good. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I'm thinking that something is, we really don't know. Something is going to go on. I think Angel is going to be caught up in a domestic violence scene from what I can see from next week. And we see that ELEKTA is going to be talking, or I don't know what's going on, but I can sense that um, Bianca is basically maybe take in ELEKTA and give her a home because ELEKTA doesn't have a home anymore. And so that's going to be interesting. But until the next time, guys, this is All Things Cheryl. I'm giving you the review and gave you the recap of Pose episode 7, Peak Slip. Very good episode. A very good episode. Until the next time, peace and love. And remember to click the notification. Subscribe to me, guys. Please subscribe to me. Share this video. Let people know about the show. Until next Sunday or next Monday when I come out with the review and the recap of episode 8, the final season of Pose. Take care. Love is for everyone.